Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we're going to take a look at Android 21. We're going to see how good she is at 7 Zenkai and see if she's pretty cool. Obviously she is a Android's girls regen unit, so she has some flexibility. I think regen's kind of a team that's been struggling a little bit. Androids did get a little bit of a buff with the Blue 17, and by a little bit I mean a very good one. Plus Blue 17 is blast orientated, and he does have some decent synergy, so pretty interesting I think, running the two of them as a combination. Now her blast effect applies attribute upgrade, minus 20% to the enemy's sustained damage, which is pretty good. She deals massive impact damage with her Kamehameha, which is fantastic, and also increases your own Dragon Balls by 1 on hit, which is a great way to accumulate rising rushes. In terms of main ability, she will guarantee draw a special card, restore her own health by 30, her ki by 40, and give herself some additional damage, which is always pretty helpful. She's a android's tag regen combo unit, which is great. She doesn't buff girls, but she's got some great synergy with some other Android 21s. And then we've got her Zenkai ability, which is red, and Android tag, which is really good. That's Android 17 and 18. That's Android 13, who's actually one of the last few really top Zenkais for Android. So, well, Zenkais in general. So, pretty good. Her unique ability is Combat Ready Scientist, and she's going to gain a whole bunch of effects when she enters the battlefield, which is always something that's pretty helpful, I think, overall. This has, obviously, when a unit comes out and gets their Zenkai at the same time that they're released, it's always like a catch-22, because obviously she's going to be way better than like just a normal fierce fight unit that comes out, because she's got the additional attack level, she's got the additional effects, she's got the additional passives that come with the Zenkai. So that makes her like really, really solid, but at the same token, like it is, still a question of, are you just peaking her a little bit too soon? Is she like just being a good unit for now type thing? Like you kind of ruin the ability to curve her later, which I think is always a little bit of a negative. But it's like when there's easy A units immediately on Dokkan Battle, it's always a question of like, yes, this makes them pretty good, but it also kind of ruins whatever curve they have for later, which feels like double the work, at least to me, basically. But anyway, Android 21 looks pretty good. The equipment that I'm running on her, you can see here, and yeah, the team is pretty straightforward. We do have her Zenkai boost with Android 13, but he's not even fully Zenkai'd, so we don't have the full Zenkai boost. But we got a pretty decent team build around her. Gammas are blast orientated. The Android 21 Blue is blast orientated. So she is getting a lot of raw blast from these units. So she's getting a lot of blast upgrade. She's going to be able to do quite a sizable chunk of damage, which is pretty good. And yeah, I think overall she is pretty good at damage. She does also have paralysis on her ki blasts. Or, sorry, the Blue Android 21 does. So we are going to have like a pretty good blast orientated kind of team, which I think is solid around her. If you have the new Android 17, I think it's even more solid, just because he brings so much damn utility. And immediately you can see, look how much damage she does with those blast attacks. It's pretty crazy how much damage she does, and not to mention that it increases like her ability to like tank damage as well, right? So it's not just that she's doing damage, her blast attacks are actually making her relatively tanky. It doesn't last forever, but it's pretty impressive, I would say, the amount of like raw damage that you're getting away with when you look at like Android 21. Because like units like Android 21 I think can catch players by surprise. Like you pop her in and you like drop a couple blast attacks against a yellow unit, and she could incinerate them. I mean, she did like pretty much almost insta-kill Bardock with like one blast attack. She almost two-shot the SS4s, and I'm not saying this person has the best build or has the best team, but I don't have Z equipment. I'm missing some of the crucial pieces to making her even stronger. So it just shows that her blast damage, at least, is definitely very impressive. Ultimate skill does decent damage as well. In terms of her gear, I am prioritizing blast damage and ultimate skill power. So yeah, I mean, her damage looked good there. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but her damage looked pretty good. She can dish it out, which I think is where she's like very good. Her ability to just kind of like throw out these really strong blast attacks is good. You need this if you're gonna run a blast team in the current meta, because the game's changed to be so much closer combo orientated, and blast attacks are some of the attacks that are most likely to drop combos and consume more ki. Having someone like Android 21, where the blast damage is so overwhelming, and being able to pair her with strong units like 17, like the Gamma units, who I think are still very good, I think is important. And to bring Blast back, I think you're going to need good free-to-play options like this Android 21. You're going to need really diverse and like utility-filled leads like 17. And yeah, I think overall it does help. It definitely does help to have such strong like blast options, and it's the only way you're going to be able to bring blast back into the meta without another combat redesign. You need to give blast all of these effects. You have to give them the power to spike their defense with blasts, paralyze with blasts, debuff the enemy, remove their armor with blasts, like really just kind of control what's going on. And you can see, I mean, she's not like the tankiest unit, but she can soak up a little bit of damage, especially against yellow enemies. Like I said, she's not the craziest, but she does have the ability to regen health as well. And you can see she didn't take a lot of damage there from that ultimate. He didn't like have a lot of cards left, but she's not just like made of glass. She's not tanky. She's not super tanky, and yeah, she's not going to like absolutely incinerate anyone, but she can dish out damage, and her regen in that does help her out. Her ability to heal up a little bit helps her to kind of stall the enemy, helps her to kind of control things, which is pretty good. My Android's team needs some work. I did contemplate going for 17, but yeah, I can't really warrant going for 17, at least for me personally speaking. But I think overall, Androids is a fun category. I don't have any of the really nice Androids, like 17 and 18 in combination with 21 would be really good. 17 himself, the blue 17, the LF one would be really good to have around. Like, it's just, yeah, like there are some, like, I want to say things that I could definitely improve on. And you see, her damage is really good. She's going to like almost full chuck Oob, which is pretty good. Obviously, again, she's great against like these yellow units and all that. So she does pretty well. I mean, obviously, we expect her to do good damage against yellow units, but you can see she also regens significantly. I mean, so the GT team does have these cool kind of green card abilities where they're able to like stop, this like vanish, like ability, and without being able to vanish, she doesn't have a lot of other tools. We didn't have the ability to sub in or anything like that, but I think overall she looks pretty good. I think her damage is super impressive, at least for me. So if you're someone who's interested in Android 21, if you're contemplating whether you should farm her, I think she's definitely worth some effort. I don't want to speak too highly of her. I don't want to sell you that she's like the equivalent of an LF unit or something like that, but she's good. She can really dish out the damage. She can absolutely keep up on that front. And tanky wise, she's good against yellow units. She regens nicely. If you manage to get a blast attack off and then she gets hit, she will be relatively tanky as well. So yeah, I think she's got enough kits to be a good free-to-play option. If you've picked up 17 recently on his banner, or you've picked up the Android 17 and 18s, and you're looking for like just a great Android unit to kind of throw on there to give yourself a little bit of something more, then I think she's definitely a unit that you can consider for that. I think you're going to get a lot out of her. I think you'll be happy with what you see. It just depends, like, at the end of the day. But you can see, I mean, it's good damage. And you can, like, she's building up her stack. She's getting her defense up. It's all nice stuff, at least for me. I think so. I think she looks really, really solid. And she actually pairs really nicely with this, like, the Gamma units. I need to give them a bit more love as well, but she pairs super nicely with them because they also debuff the user on Key Blast. So now you've got like this, well, with that Gamma specifically, now you've got this like really, really, really good Gamma synergy with her. The blue Android 21, also not too bad as well. Really nice pairing from a synergy point of view. Obviously both blast orientated, both really do debuff the enemy a lot and buff themselves with blasts, so that's some good synergy there. And yeah, just overall some nice stuff. It's not crazy, like I say, it's not the craziest, they're not like LF level free to play units or anything, but definitely some good options. I think nowadays with the way like free to play options are going, I'm much happier with how they've done Android 21 and how they've done some of the PS5 units that they've done recently. Broly, I think, was also a good step in the direction. So I think between Broly and now this red Android 21, I think they've done well. I think they've done really, really well. I think they've really made them like a lot more usable for players who maybe miss out on getting some buffs for those teams. So like if you're like me, your Android's team hasn't really been touched in a while, having this occur, having these units kind of like arrive, I think is really good. And their usability, the way they work, the way they function, I think all of that is really, really good. So yeah, for me, personally, I would say they're doing a good job. They're doing a very good job with the free-to-play. I think they are really, really like making a good fist of all these free-to-play units and everything like that, and I think they're doing a better job. And Android 21 is a continual step in that good direction, and I think she's a lot of fun. I've actually been using her beyond this video, and she's a hell of a lot of fun. She does really good damage. I wish now and that I had managed to pull Android 17 and 18, because I'd love to kind of augment my Android's team a bit. I think running all of these guys together would be really, really awesome and be a really, really top kind of like improvement to the team. So yeah, I think overall I'm just very, very happy with like how they've done Android 21, and yeah, just the way they're improving, the way they are really, really doing a lot better with like all of these units and things like that. And she does some really big damage, she does huge damage, and I think that's awesome. And you can see there, she's continuing to do really, really solid damage, and yeah, I think you have to be like not happy about it. I mean, you don't have to be happy, but I think the direction they're taking free to play units is really, really good, and I think overall she's doing a fantastic job. So yeah, I'm really impressed with how well she's doing, and I've really like enjoyed using her. Her kit's good, and the damage, I mean, damage is always super fun to use, and like when you can dish out such big blast damage and good ultimate damage, I think there's always a place on a team. And her utility is not bad. Gaining Dragon Balls, paralysis, debuffing the enemy. It's all stuff that's usable across both of their teams. And I think she does boost regen. She does boost Android, and Blast itself got probably its strongest lead in a while. And so I think it's all coming together. But that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. And let me know your thoughts about Android 21 in the comments below. But until then, bye.